All right, we're good. We're starting. Yes, I'm using Microsoft Paint to show you guys the ropes.
Can you make pizza tower?
Yeah, it'll take me 3 minutes. All right, here we go.
All right.
Welcome to GitHub 101, everybody. Wait, am I muted? No, am I good? Can you guys hear me in general?
Muted, bro? No, he's not muted.
You guys can. You guys are good.
He's trying to agree.
We can hear you, but I think you're just streaming Discord.
What?
You're just streaming.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm closing. All right. So you guys
You're
can see.
streaming Discord, not your.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, your own. Go to your stream.
Oh crap.
Wow.
Go to your stream.
My bad. Yeah. Stop.
That works.
Okay, I'm just gonna share my entire screen. There. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Why, Dylan?
Okay.
I can't believe you done this.
Okay. So here we go.
Yeah, can they see it?
GitHub 101. So we're gonna start by kind of showing you guys like what an actual project is. So whenever you're making a Unity project or Unreal project, you see like the visual editor. You get to like move some things around. It's pretty fun. But really, behind the scenes, it's just it's just folders and files. Just a series of files in your directory. You can look up any project asset in your File Explorer if you go through like the right process. But here it just looks like this. So you got like your folder here, and this contains different files that just like include a bunch of code and instructions for the engine where you can make changes and stuff. So all the stuff behind the scenes, this is the actual file. This is your project. And so whenever you create a GitHub repository, you're uploading a copy of your project to the cloud. So we'll like do a cloud here, and this is like just the same project, same folder. You're uploading all your stuff to this cloud whenever you push it. So this initially is in a larger like just GitHub folder, so that way the cloud knows where to look for it on your PC. So the cloud finds the GitHub folder, accesses your project, and then whenever you do something called a push, it'll push it to the cloud, and so you have all your files here. And it's all that like your project is then now in the cloud. And so if you want another person then to get a copy of this project, you'd have, let's like pretend this is another computer. So this is one computer, this is the cloud, this is another computer. It doesn't have anything right now. So it's sad. No project, no game. But it wants this game from the cloud that's uploaded to GitHub. So it does a git clone to upload this project here to the computer. And so what cloning does is it just clones what's existing in the repository and allows you to read and write to that where that cloud storage is. Am I making sense so far? Anyone have any questions? Okay.
So that goes there, and can go to that if we wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So the project is just kind of moving around at this point. A lot of there are several copies. In this case, there are 2 copies on each person's local machine and 1 copy on the cloud.
Question: can we get Daniel playing his stream on that computer right there? Since this is usually what he's doing.
Like a Subway Surfers video, so you guys like say. Yeah, something like that. All right.
Where's
his cooking stream?
Like Family Guy clips.
Yes.
All right.
No,
So-
Steve Harvey.
Yeah. All right. So we have the cloud. We have these 2, and now this. If let's say this guy cloned the repository, has write access, which you guys will, so you don't have to worry about that. And wants to make some changes. So he has the game. He wants to add a new character that he created or a new art asset that he created. So let's just say this is Mr. Bean here. He created him, and so visually in the editor, he sees Mr. Bean, but really it's just a bunch of text when you upload it to Unity. And it's just it's just a new file in the directory. New file right here. We'll color it black, so that way it's like it's a different file. And then let's say he wants to upload this to the remote. He made some changes. He wants to upload it. So what he does is he makes a push and pushes his updated branch. So he basically pretty much technically pushes all of this, and then GitHub will be like, okay, all these 4 files here are exactly the same. This file here, this is new, so we're gonna skip we're not gonna like recreate every single file because it's kind of a waste of time. Instead, we're just gonna add this file that he pushed, this Mr. Bean here, to this project. Okay, and so this person, he still only has like the basic files, like the original project. This guy pulled it, made some changes, pushed it back to the cloud, and now if this guy wants to access Mr. Bean, the changes, he then has to pull again from this cloud. And so now he pulled from the cloud. Now he has the Mr. Bean file, and he can see the changes that were made on.
Appearance, Professor Cole.
Woo!
Yeah, let's go, Professor Cole.
And then so now the cloud has Mr. Bean. Person 1 has Mr. Bean, and person 2 has Mr. Bean. So now that's where you like everything's up to date. Everyone's doing the same thing, and that's how you kind of make changes, upload them to the main branch, and then someone else pulls from that main like cloud and gets those changes. So it doesn't exactly work like Google Doc where it's like, oh, I make changes and they just automatically appear. You have to actually manually pull those changes, and like you have to push those changes to the cloud and then pull those changes to your project. And another this is also good for solo projects because if you're like me and get your laptop stolen, you're gonna want to upload your projects to the cloud, so that way you can just sign in with your GitHub account, clone the repository again, and you'll have all your data. I did that with the theater, but not with some other projects. So we saved the theater, but like I lost some good work.
I'm looking at the current repository for the theater right now.
And that can include like if you have a project you've been working on for like a year and your computer just dies and crashes and you don't have access to it again, that really sucks. You could upload it to a Google Drive, but like it's kind of inefficient because you're uploading the same stuff over and over and over again. This just uploads your changes, and so it's a lot more efficient. It's a lot faster, especially when you're working with like files that are like 20 gigabytes. You know.
What are the cons or concerns of GitHub that all members must be careful of?
So here, I'll yeah, good question. One concern, the big concern that people should be careful of
How is it a tiger that you poke it too hard?
yeah. So as you can see, like all these changes here, I'll how do you can you clear the page? Is there like a button you can do?
Control N. Control N.
Control
Make
N.
a new one.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. All right, we'll save
Why
it.
would you say?
It's nice. It's memories.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
It's memories.
No.
Well,
We'll
Mr.
put it up on the
Bean.
fridge.
Everyone wants that picture of Mr. Bean.
No, we have a recording. We have a recording, guys.
Mr. Bean's magical
we do have
adventure.
recording. Good.
Oh,
We
there
have,
we
we have,
go.
we have evidence.
Yes.
All right, here this one's gonna be a more tragic tale about the death of Mr. Bean. Okay, be careful. So here we go. We have Project 1 files. Project 2 files. Cloud files. And then let's say this guy this more applies to code. So like this is like a loose example. This wouldn't actually happen, but it happens in other cases. But let's say you enter a folder and create or let's say Mr. Bean already exists in both files. So here's black is Mr. Bean. And then okay. So let's say this guy wants to make changes to Mr. Bean. Let's say he wants to give him like glasses or something. Or like rec specs, or goggles. We'll say goggles. And this guy changes. He doesn't want to add goggles, but he wants to add top hat. That's a good. Okay, so now we have a version of Mr. Bean, and this is let's say is the same file. Okay, the same file name. And GitHub recognized both of them. We have 3 different versions of Mr. Bean here. We have the top hat version, goggles version, and regular.
I'm Mr. Bean.
And so. What?
Mr. Bean has seen better days.
Let's just pretend they're all the same except for their changes. One has goggles, one has top hat, one doesn't have anything. And so let's say both of these try to push before polling. So now you have two versions being pushed into the cloud that are different, and it doesn't know how to resolve them, so you're going to get a merge conflict.
And what happens during a merge conflict?
You essentially have to resolve. This is where things can get messy. Merge conflicts, they're not uncommon, but you want to avoid them where you can because things can get really messy, especially because one person is going to essentially lose their work because you have to choose one or the other. And this comes from good project management. Good. So if everyone knows what they're doing and everyone knows that they're doing something different, if two people work on the same thing, you kind of have to pick one or the other. If two people are working on different things, you can merge them because they're different files. So if let's say they were
on the same thing at the same time.
yeah, exactly. So let's say if there was a Mr. Bean top hat file and a Mr. Bean goggle file, then you could have both. But because they're the same file, there's a merge conflict. And so typically to resolve these, there'll be like a merge conflict editor, and you can kind of decide which one you want to keep, and you can work your way around to have both Mr. Beans if you really want. But also, it can get messy, and for no reason whatsoever, it deletes every Mr. Bean, and you just lost that. There are ways to like kind of go back and like recover them, but avoid merge conflicts where you can because you can lose data.
Is there a way that you can duplicate the data to save like your Mr. Bean just in case if you pushed it and then it got conflicted and you could just say, oh, that's okay. I
Good
got
question.
it.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, I
spare
was
Mr. Bean.
getting right into the next topic, which is branches. You have a question?
Do so if it was like two different files, would merge conflict like would it not be a conflict and wouldn't it just like merge the changes into
Yeah, if they're two different files, so like yeah, if let's say this is called MrBean.png and this is called MrBean.png, it's gonna be like, oh, what the heck? If this is Mr. Bean Top Hat.png and this is Mr. Bean Goggles.png, then they both merge as their own thing and you have both, essentially. So if you do want both, then you'll have that. But if they're like named the same thing and they're two different versions of that thing, and that this happens most commonly in game design with levels. So if you edit the same level, sometimes there'll be merge conflicts, or you move the same asset. Because some people are like, oh, I'm just going to move this to the left here. And it's like, oh, I'm going to move this to the right. You make two different decisions. When you actually merge, there'll be a little conflict. And those aren't hard to resolve because it's like, oh, okay, I'll just choose to move the one to the left. It doesn't really matter.
Which is where you want to kind of have isolated things different people can work on.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where the project management comes in, and you have different files and different like tasks that are very separate to where they can like work in tandem and actually merge those things together.
So would you say that communication is key when working with GitHub? So
Yes,
that way
definitely.
whenever you are working on it and pushing it to main, you can openly say, I would recommend all of us just talking on Discord, hey, I'm going to push this into main.
Yeah, every time. So I'll talk about branches in a minute, but like the main like this can just be one copy. You can have multiple copies of this version, but for now this is main. All right, and main is like the main version, the main project, the build that will be used like that you pull from and push to, like kind of the ultimate like shared project whenever you make deliverables. And so
Never commit to main.
Never commit to
yeah,
main.
so never commit to main, like in parentheses, there are times where you will, but it's most like there are a lot of practices you can use where you don't have to commit to main because sometimes you can commit stuff that you didn't know were a conflict, or you can commit stuff where that actually ends up overwriting something that was already built. And if you don't have a backup of that main, you lost data. There are ways to like kind of get backups of previous projects and like almost reverse commits. Those can be kind of complicated and don't always work. So just kind of try to avoid those problems to begin with. There are ways to solve them, but they're not the most consistent. So we're gonna get into branches now. Does this all make sense with like the conflicts and everything? Mm-hmm. Okay. Control N. And so now, we're gonna get into branches. So we had our one cloud version, right? Mm-hmm. But what if we want multiple versions of this project on the cloud? So like, let's say I'm making changes here. Someone's making changes. Like, let's say they're making changes, and you don't want you want to avoid like merge conflicts where possible. You can create multiple branches. So this is main, which is a copy. 4 files. And then this branch is a copy of main, and then this branch is also a copy of main. So you have three versions of main right here. And you have device 1, which also has that version. and device 2, which also has the root. Just pretend like they're all the same. They're all 4. And so let's say person 1 wants to add Mr. Bean with goggles. And person 2 wants to add Mr. Bean with top hat. Now, even though they're the same Mr. Bean, you're kind of making these changes, and you rename the file. You like Mr. Bean T, Mr. Bean G for like goggles and top hat, and then you add them to your own respective branches. Now you have version here in your own branch. So this is like person 1 branch. This is person 2 branch. You can either separate branches by developer or by feature. So if you want to like divide it by developer, you have each person that kind of has their own branch, consistently pulls from mains to make sure they're up to date with that main branch when other people make changes, and then pushing their changes to that main branch to like add the features that they want to add. And so these like different branches allow you to do that. You can also do it by feature, where it's like, let's say I'm tasked with working on making Mr. Bean move left and right. Another person is tasked with programming the enemies of Mr. Bean. And then you, well then, like I'll push the Mr. Bean moving left and right to that feature branch, and then merge the feature branch to main. And then I'll delete the Mr. Bean branch because I don't need it anymore because it's already merged to main. That's how you can kind of like keep your branches low and like keep everything organized. You can also do it per person, which works as well, where you just make all your changes and then push them.
Can other people see and access your branch?
Yeah. So if you're working in the same repository, anyone can like see, edit, unless there are like specific restrictions added. Anyone can see and edit the branches that you're working on.
You do stuff on one repository and then move it to another?
Repository?
Sure. Like if I have one repository, but I have some stuff on it, I'd like to move to another repository.
Are you talking repository or branch?
I'm talking like I have a branch. Like I have a repository called Mr. Bean Goes to New York.
Okay, yeah.
And then I do some stuff on that. And then I'm like, okay, we're going to cancel Mr. Bean Goes to New York, but we're going to continue production on our other game, Mr. Bean Gets Tried for War Crimes.
Okay.
Now, let's say I wanted to take some stuff from the repository, Mr. Bean Goes to New York, and I want to put it in Mr. Bean Gets Tried for War Crimes.
Like I said before, you can find all these files in your file explorer. You can also see them in your editor as well. And so whatever you want to copy and paste, although you have to be careful because if you have different versions of Unity or like different versions of like a game engine, there can be some minor conflicts. Most of the time it's okay, but there can be like some minor issues that you will have to resolve. But if let's say, you want to copy Mr. Bean into a new repository, you can simply go into the file explorer, highlight it, hit Control-C, and hit Control-V in the other repository if you know where it is.
That's cool.
Yeah, because it all just comes down to like files, and whatever's in that GitHub file or whatever's in that folder, GitHub knows to access, and it's like all the stuff in this file we're gonna push to the remote, and the cloud is called the remote. So like this cloud, the official term for it is the remote, and so that's just where stuff is, and then each individual computer is local. So local changes are any changes you make on your branch. And then you commit those changes to add them to your branch, and then you push those changes to the remote, so that way other people can access your changes. Everyone following so far? Any questions or anything? Okay. So yeah, that's the basics of it. I'm going to now actually get you guys set up and making your own repositories, breaking off your own branches. So I know you guys like all are separated into teams. Anyone like not have a team or like a game like or like, kind of just wandering around? Okay, yeah, you guys, that's completely fine. We'll have some time after if you want to like walk around, like talk to people, and get involved in projects that you're interested in. All these groups here are always looking for more members because the more the merrier. And so they'll pitch you your ideas and join whatever you find interesting. We have 4 main projects right now, so it'll be pretty cool. But in the meantime, you can even just create your own practice repository, and like make your own branches out of it and do stuff like that. Because they're also important for personal projects. So if you want to make one for like a personal project you were thinking about, that'd be a good framework for it. All right, we're done with MS Paint, and now we are going to go to GitHub. So
doesn't matter if it has to be desktop or on the website.
I'll do desktop. Like I'll show you guys both GitHub Desktop and GitHub. Yeah.
Yeah.
So first thing you want to do is create an account. So type github.com, and I'm already signed in, but you'll have like a landing page that tells you like, hey, like sign up for GitHub. Put in your email. I would suggest putting in your personal email and not your school email because your school email gets deleted after you graduate. And if you want to continue having access and using GitHub for your projects, you don't want to like lose them or lose like access to your account. So I'd suggest using your personal email. But if you want to use your school email, you can do that as well. I'll give you all like a couple minutes to do that. And once you sign in, you'll get a screen something like this. You might not have like a feed because like there's this nerd that I follow who like creates like these full stack websites by himself like all the time, and so he has like a lot of like feed or like profile stuff. So, but yeah, you should see like something similar to this where you have like kind of like your dash or like a little dashboard here and some changes and stuff. And so, I guess maybe I'm trying to like see what I could do, like figure out when you guys are all done. Just like do a little jig once you finish. Like do a little dance.
I've been done since you were talking.
Okay, so like yeah.
No.
That's fair. That's fair. You don't have to. Or you can like, I'll just check in every once in a while and be like, hey, like who's still working?
I have a question. We got two options here. It says license and git ignore. What does git ignore mean?
I'll get into that. Okay,
Okay, cool.
Wait, so what are you? Are you
It
already
just means
doing
we
it?
ignore you.
Yeah, I'm goofing. That's what I'm
Alright.
doing.
Yeah, I'll show you guys get ignore. Get ignore is pretty important, especially for game design
Okay.
or game development, like using engines and stuff.
Like a 5-page thing.
I think your ears are ringing.
Well,
I think my ears are ringing.
No, I hear it too.
do you need a break, buddy?
You guys on Discord following along too?
Oh.
I mean, because
I hear a little.
PC just died.
No, it could be like our printer or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you-
hear it.
they're
I hear it.
Yeah, I'm not. See, I'm not crazy.
Still recording.
Like it's very faint though.
Oh, wait a minute. While we're at
Also, if you're watching this video later, you can just like skip because like it's just sometimes there'll be a little bit of waiting.
Pass that around if anybody wants it.
You just have like decent balls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sundays.
Yeah, Sunday.
I'm
Oh,
good.
absolutely. That's not a bad eggs.
played the clarinet. And you kind of, yeah, I was gonna say, you kind of look like.
All right, people still working. People still getting signed in.
Okay, I've heard this from my siblings.
Are you in
dashboard?
What is the look?
Raise your hand if you're still getting signed in.
For my fan kid.
Okay, cool.
Flutes are either.
Okay, is everyone
That's
able to get GitHub downloaded on their personal laptop?
We're not downloading it yet. We're just doing GitHub.com. Not yet. We'll get there.
Or
I
like
got it down.
the way.
I have it.
You're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's
David,
I love that you were able to say that with like no hesitation and just all
No, I like wearing down some Actually, I like just wasting my storage on nonsense.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I got stuff from 9th grade in here, dude. 9th grade. And this is a new laptop. I didn't even need to add it. I just put it in there because I wanted to do it.
Anyone need any help? Like sign. You guys are all probably good signing in. Anyone still signing in? You guys are good. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna move on then. So, I need one representative from each group.
Right.
Developers.
Developers!
Developers.
All right. I'll wait. All right. Now they're finally paying attention. No. Okay.
Get out of here.
So if you're solo, you can follow along. But the group, each group, find one representative to move on, like with the next couple steps, where we'll be actually creating the repository. You only need one person to create the repository. So you just need one person like per group. But if you're solo, I'd recommend just creating your own repository, because it's good practice. Also, if you want to follow along and you're not like the designated person per team, you can just create your own like practice repository in your own account. All right. So, well, we technically have an organization which like holds repositories, like Game Dev Club organization, but you can just make it on your own private account. and then like share it with Game Dev Club. All right, so first thing you want to do is if you see this green button here that says new, click it. That's how you create a new repository. You'll get this little menu here. And then call your repository your game name. So I'm working on the clicker. I'll be the representative for the clicker game, so no one else has to. Did we come up with a name for it? It's like chicken.
Chin clicker.
Yeah.
There's chin clicker. And then
Chicken
there's the other.
battle or chicken demon. Chicken demon. Okay.
Chicken demon? That's just the normal chicken.
Chicken demon.
They all got demons in them.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
All right, and then you can write a brief description if you want. I'm not going to. You can also. I think you can also always go back and change this and stuff too. All right. So I'll make this public. You can make it public or private if you want people to see the cool projects that you're working on your profile. It's actually good for employers. Like employers will sometimes look at your GitHub and like see what projects you're working on. So if you want to make it public and show off, you can do that. Or you can make it private if you have like confidential information or something that you want to hide. All right, and then README. README is not really that important. You can add one if you want and just like add text being like, hey, like this is our game. Like add extra information if you want to. I'm not going to for this game. And then git ignore. This one's important, especially for game development. So git ignore, what it does, there are a lot of like useless files, especially in like game engines, that just like run and like create themselves and like do whatever, that like automatically do stuff. And GitHub will register all of those, and just you'll end up uploading like 2,000 commits like per push, cause like a crap ton of conflicts. And it's not fun to work with no git ignore with your git ignore not working, because there's a ton of conflicts and like just useless files that are being pushed, and you might as well just not use GitHub at all at that point. This is one of like the most annoying things about GitHub is not having your git ignore set up properly and you're using a game engine. So this is a careful step. You type in Unity, and this is the default, and it'll add. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
If you want to get your laptop out, I'm doing GitHub tutorial. You actually came at a perfect time, so.
We have another seat.
Yeah.
What makes us want to like? So, for example, I want my game to be in Unreal Engine. Would I select Unreal Engine?
Yeah. So yeah. Depending on the engine, I think they have one for Unreal.
Yep.
They have one. I think they have one for Godot. Yep. Game. RP. Venture game. Yeah.
Excel.
Do you want?
Is there one for
Are you
Chrome?
processing these words?
Yes. Big question.
And also, just a reminder, we only want one person doing this per team. If you want to just create a GitHub profile, and then you don't have to follow along. So go to github.com, sign in, create an account if you don't have one already. And then this is just a tutorial for each representative to actually create the repository. Because you only need one person to do that.
Alright, done.
Developers.
Scouts on, or whatever you call it. All right.
No,
Alright.
we gotta do develop.
Yeah, developers.
Developers.
All right. We get like Steve Ballmer button here, just developers.
Yeah.
That'd be a great investment.
All right. And then licenses, you don't really need to worry about. I think like if you're like actually planning to publish stuff, like you worry about it, but we can worry about that later. All right. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So at this point, simple as click create repository. Make sure you have your git ignore set up properly. If not, just recreate the repository. And you'll get this. Literally, this is just an empty folder with one git ignore file, just sitting on the cloud. Yes.
Can you transfer ownership of the repository?
Yeah, so you can go to settings here. There's a bunch of fun stuff. And so you can go to collaborators, duo factor authentication.
Hooray.
Your GitHub's connected to Duo?
Yep.
So,
They make you. At some point, they make you for like some thing.
Dude,
Yeah,
can you
so-
imagine that?
Aren't they stabbing Duo tomorrow?
Yeah, and they're
They are.
It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see.
It's the same thing with more
Yeah,
annoying
it's the same exact thing with like.
I
Who?
downloaded the app. I have to set it
I have
up.
a question.
When I try to
Yeah.
set it up, it just changed.
I just got asked, should I keep my code private? What should I select for that question?
Do you want to show off or do you want to keep it private? That's the question.
Are you going to put your social
Okay,
security
keep
number
private.
Are
on
you
it?
a proprietary studio or are you an open source studio?
I don't want it too open now. You know, I still have my pride.
Is your name
Not for long.
But yeah, so essentially,
Steve Jobs.
developers. Essentially, you can add any collaborators that you want, like by their username. So anyone who wants to get added to the repository, actually, we'll do that now. So like the people who created the repository, get your group members' GitHub usernames that they created, and you just go go to settings. So you would start at code, the code section. You go to settings, and then you go to collaborators,
I know.
and then you add people. And so you just click add people. Who's doing the clicker game? Wait, what's your did you make a GitHub account? Okay, what's your GitHub username? DED.
CK. And then John.
Dedrick what?
John.
John, okay.
No.
This you?
How it goes for managing your local
Alright.
files.
God, I hear you now. I hear you. I'm actually paying attention.
Alright. So you go to settings, so like see this top menu. Go from hit settings and then you'll see collaborators. Click on collaborators and you can manage access.
Okay,
And you should get an email then of the invite once I invite or once everyone invites people. Anyone else? Are you doing? You're not doing the clicker game. You're doing okay. What's your GitHub username?
Cool guy.
Yeah, open source.
BZ.
Easy.
Okay.
I'm a proud independent game developer. I'm proud of my repository.
Oh, wait.
Yes, I said yes.
He made like 7 channels
Who else is working? Who else is working on you? Okay, what's your username? Dunce.
Yeah, get my name. What's your username?
Who else? Anyone else? Anyone else working on the clicker game? Okay.
What?
I'm gonna have to change my profile pic.
And also, if you're watching this later, just shoot me an email or like Discord message, and I'll send you with your GitHub username, and I'll send you an invite. If you want to work on this project. If not, you can also just be like, go to the project you want to work on. Like, let's say you want to work on like theater. Just be like, hey, I want to work on theater. Here's my GitHub username. Add me to the repository, and then you can make changes to it. And so yeah, let me know when you guys like have everyone added.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you some time. Also, if you're watching this in advance, this is also another time where you just want to skip because we're just kind of waiting around.
I would like, you would like to.
You would like to get added.
Yes, because I will totally like to go on this.
You should join.
Absolutely. Yeah, just show me your profile name.
Whatever channel. What?
That's fine.
There's a project
Pull it.
That's my
I
name.
can't see from this angle, brother.
Did you make Project Failure username?
Okay. Alright, yeah. Give me your GitHub username right now.
Let me see that again.
What was that?
I got that.
2018. Okay, gotcha. Alright, yeah, you're added. Sweet.
Oh, you need to hit add. You're searching who's already Sorry! You're in the wrong field.
I am in the wrong field.
Wait.
Okay.
Jeez. I told him
God.
to do that, and then he made his own.
You're right.
We make happy accidents.
Alright. Smashes in.
I consider myself.
Who else?
Aspirate.
I gotta add some more.
Yeah,
Elsa,
irony.
do you want to be part of the theater or GitHub repository?
You just bought it.
Do you have your
You can just tell
profile
him too. If you have your profile.
Or you can put it in the project discussion channel.
You made it separate.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you made it separate.
Somebody do something.
Maybe I should pause. I should pause the OBS recording because I feel like people are just gonna be waiting.
That is actually probably
You can always edit it later.
Hold on, no, wait. If you've made it this far and you've waited without skipping, here's your little Easter egg. Like, oh wow, you're cool. Thanks for waiting so long. Thanks for hearing our conversation. It's almost like you're here. You know, it's almost like you're at the club. I appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording now.
You didn't even. Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
no, it was paused. I paused it.
What are examples of branches that we should create? Should we do
Like you could do one per person for now. I would suggest like just making one per person, but we have to download GitHub Desktop first.
It's an
The
intuitive way is break it up so each person has their own branch. Another way to organize it is if you have specific features you want to implement, you can do that as a branch. You make the branch, make the feature, and then merge and close the branch.
But yeah, so you have members here transferring ownership. I don't think I've ever done that, Daniel. But there's a way to do it. You can like Google it if you want to transfer ownership to someone else. But yeah, I've never done that before.
ChatGPT exists.
It's probably like right there. Anyways, I'm gonna move on.
If that is a thing, or do you just
It probably is. Like 99% is. All right. I'm gonna move on, and now we're opening a new tab. This is where you might not be able to follow along on your phone, just because like you have to download stuff. But now we're gonna look up GitHub Desktop on Google. And then if you already have it, you can skip this step.
Skip this step.
But yeah, you go to this page, GitHub Desktop, desktop.github. Download for Windows. I think you can download for Mac somewhere.
Yeah, you can.
And then you just download. I already have it, but you download it. It'll like the exe file will pop up here. Internet might be bad. It might take a little bit.
Alright.
Oh, you beat.
So the internet will be bad.
Yeah, the internet's pretty rough.
Yeah, isn't it?
Ooh.
Not. Well,
I'm not downloading this thing.
well, good thing I already had download. Time to pause.
Yeah.
Pause the OBS.
Well, yeah, it takes a while to download.
OBS does not need this shenanigans.
Maybe I should have had you download. Maybe I should have had you download it before.
What do you laugh?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Are you getting all this?
Hang on. It's opening in 2 minutes. Hold up.
Okay.
Hold up. We could be there.
But essentially, once you download it, follow the steps and stuff, you'll get a screen like this. This is GitHub Desktop. This is where you actually manage your local changes on your game to the remote changes. This is where you do all the pushing and pooling that I was talking about with MS Paint. GitHub is all cloud. The thing with the GitHub.com is this is all the cloud stuff. GitHub Desktop actually deals with your local changes as well. So like the changes that are just on your branch and all those files. And so I'll show you guys the basic features. We might not be able to get you guys like we'll see how fast this downloads. Hopefully it downloads quickly for you guys. I'll actually cancel this because I don't really need this. I already have it. But yeah, hopefully it downloads fast for you guys. But in the meantime, I'll give you guys a little tour. This is your repository list. So you click on this, you get repositories here, and then where is? Okay, yeah. So yeah, and to actually get access to have GitHub Desktop get access to the GitHub.com repository that you guys created and were added to, you go to GitHub.com because right now it's just on the cloud. It's not on your computer. And then where is it? There it is. Okay, Chicken Demon, code. And so you go to the code section here. You see this green button called code. Click on it, and then you'll have all these funny options. You don't have to worry about any of this. Just go down to open with GitHub Desktop. Once you have GitHub Desktop installed, you don't have to do that right now. I'll go over it once you guys all have it installed. But open with GitHub Desktop. You open the file, and you'll get this little pop up here. And this is basically the URL to the GitHub, and this is just the cloud file that you're downloading. This is just the directory to the cloud file that you're downloading onto your computer. It just tells you where it is, and then it's like, here, download it. And then clone. And now I have a copy of this cloud repository.
And you should choose a file that you know where to navigate to when you.
Oh yeah, choose a directory. So like typically, I actually, I made the rookie mistake of not really caring about where my GitHub folder was, and it's just in my documents. But make sure you at least know where your GitHub folder is. It's fine. Like I've like all these projects. It's just stuck. Like you could move it, but there's so much data in
Probably
there.
just click and drag.
But here, so
You have to change
as long as you know where it is, it's not that big a deal. You'll get used to it. You'll live. And then so your GitHub folder contains all the repositories that you've cloned to your local branch. I have a lot because I use Git like as a CS major and everything. I use GitHub a lot. And you guys, other like even like game design majors will use GitHub a lot too. Yeah, there's that's one game. So this is
What
just like
does a GitHub look like of a completed game? Could we see that?
Oh yeah, sure. So this is Bubble Up. This is a game jam that we worked on, and so right in here, this is just all the Unity stuff. This is all the Unity stuff. So if you go into assets, this is all the stuff that we created. You go to scripts. You can actually see our C# scripts, and I can open.
What's that look like?
I'll open bubble.cs. This is some of our like actual code.
I'm ready for the nostalgia smack.
I think this one was what file is it? I think this is Bubble. This was you, Daniel. So yeah, this is just a little script that we made to like make the bubble float, essentially.
Yeah, most of that was controlling the lifetime of the bubble.
Yeah. So you have complete access of your project, even just from like without even having Unity. Like if you clone a repository without having Unity, you get access to all this. Unity is just the thing that interprets all these files. And so we'll go back and I'll show you what Chicken Daemon is, which is like kind of an undone. Git is just like extra. You don't have to worry about the .git file. It should be hidden on your computer. But yeah, it's literally just the git ignore file. That's the only file you have to worry about. And this is what like ignores all the extra stuff. But you see, there's nothing in here. We can actually. Did you get how many of you got GitHub installed? Yeah. Okay, cool. So a decent amount of you guys. So I'll wait a couple more minutes, let you guys all get settled. And I'll walk through. I'll actually now that some of you guys have it installed again, I'll walk through the same process. Go to your repository that you'll have access to, the code section. Click on the green code button, and then click open with GitHub Desktop. It'll prompt you, and it'll automatically open this. It'll prompt you, and you can change the directory if you want. I didn't. It's just in my documents. I think that's where it defaults. And then you just hit clone, and it creates a GitHub folder and creates the project folder with, for now, nothing in it. And so yeah, and just for a practice for the people who can follow along, you feel free. I'm going to create an example file, create a simple text file, and publish it to the main branch. So I'm in this here. You can right click, and then you can like do a bunch of fun stuff. You can open the project in Visual Studio Code if you have that. You can open it in command prompt if you're like a Vim user, or like you know how to do the command prompt stuff. And you can show it in Explorer. This is what I use most of the time. And I can see it just takes me right to where I need to be. And so everything in this file, every time I upload it, every time I put something in this file, so I'm gonna add a new text file, text document. I'm just gonna call this test, or even readme, because we didn't add one whenever we created the repository. I'm just gonna open it. Okay. And then I'm just going to be like, hello, this is a test. Pretend I am Mr. Bean. So this is like pretend Mr. Bean. We'll just say. All right. So then minimize this. Now you have to make sure to save it too, so that way it's like your file's actually up there. And then look at that. Hello, this is a test. It automatically added this because it was in my GitHub folder and in my GitHub project. It just added it to this little thing right here. And so this kind of shows you the changes that you made.
So
And-
does Unreal? Can you literally just take Unreal and just save that to that file, and it'll automatically go to GitHub, and whatever your scene is from Unreal?
Yeah. So if you make a change in like Unity or Unreal Engine, like let's say you move a block, it'll register that as a file, and it'll be something like this. It'd be like a text file, only it'd be like really complicated, and you won't be able to understand because it's like all encrypted and just like random letters and numbers and stuff. But it'll show you like those file changes, and you'll understand that okay, this means move the scene. And also, if you want to be more specific too, you can create a commit message, which is just like added README file, or even better, added Mr. Bean. And then you commit this. But careful, this tells you what branch you're in. And remember, we don't really want two people working in main at the same time, just to in case there is like a merge conflict. And so this is where branches come in. And so before you commit this, what you can do is click on this drop down and hit new branch. There's this button that's just new branch. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name this Dylan branch. And then you'll get this option if you have changes stored, because this left-hand side is where all your changes are. I'll full screen this. This left-hand side is where all your changes are. And this is like the actual changes that are applied, and then all this stuff. So yeah, create a new branch, and then it gives you the option: leave your changes on main or bring them to Dylan branch. I want to bring them to my branch because I don't want that stuff just sitting in main. And then I'll publish the branch. And so now I have a new branch with these changes stored locally, but nothing's on the cloud yet. Actually, my branch is on the cloud, but it's empty. So here, I'll show you. GitHub.com will actually show this because GitHub.com represents the cloud storage. So if I reload, see now there's Dylan branch. I added it to the cloud. It doesn't have anything in it right now because I didn't push, or it has a copy. It's a copy of main right now because whenever you create a branch, it just copies the branch that you made a branch of. So like let's say, yeah. So git ignore will be in there, but it won't. I won't have the README in here yet because I didn't push it. And so I will pull this up. And so yeah, I have the README text, and to push it, you first have to commit it, like store the changes. It's a couple like fun steps, but if you guys are following along, you can add this README text to the folder using show and explorer. You can just create a new file, create a new folder, but create whatever you want. And then you would have this little thing up here. Anyone trying to get to this point who's like kind of stuck or like needs some help or needs more time, if you are following along.
I'm still down.
You're fine, yeah. It's up to you guys, but like if you guys want to move on or like just like work on your own projects or want me to go over it again, I can. It's up to you.
Is there any other important points of GitHub?
Well, I was gonna go over like committing and pushing and everything. So to commit, you add a commit message. You can add a description if you want. You don't have to, but you do have to add a commit message. You can't leave this blank.
Okay,
Or else, actually, I guess if you have to have something, a description or a commit message. And then you'll get this little option to push here. And so this is you. Remember that arrow I put from your local machine to the cloud machine? That's what pushing is.
So what you just did there, only do that once we communicated, hey, I've got this change I got for the branch. I'm ready to push it to main.
But if you are on, because I'm on Dylan branch, I'm not affecting main right now. I can push as much as I want.
So you can push it.
Worst case scenario, I push like a bunch of crap and it breaks and everything's ruined. You can just go up and delete the branch because you have a copy of it in main.
Cool.
So like that's the thing. So and another thing too, like before I'm doing like a big merge into main, like moving a bunch of stuff, just in case. Actually, this actually worked for me for my one CS class group project because I ruined main, but I had a backup main that I made beforehand, so I was able to like restore those changes and stuff.
So a bad move would be, I just want to do all my work on a single branch, so I can just keep all my stuff in one spot, and then it gets screwed up, and literally all of my work is destroyed except for the stuff I pushed.
Like if the branch gets deleted or you like a bad merge gets made and like because there are ways to like revert it and like you never completely lost your work because every single commit you make is stored. So unless you're like deleting all your code and force pushing it and like then you shouldn't have an issue because you can always revert or go back in the history and rebase and stuff like that. But it's just complicated, so it's best to not get in those situations. and you do that by making multiple backups and branches and stuff like that. All right. So now you can see evidence of this in GitHub.com because now look, my branch has readme text and get ignored, but main doesn't have that yet. Even though I copied it, this is a different branch, so it doesn't have the changes that I made. If I want to add those changes to main, like let's say I'm comfortable, I don't think there are going to be any merge conflicts, then what you can do is there are two ways. There are multiple ways you can go about it. You can do pull requests. That's like the business way to do it. That's like professional. Because if like you're an intern or like an entry level employee like me, and your boss needs to actually like review your code before you just like upload it to production, then that's what the pull request would be. It kind of adds an extra step in the middle before actually merging into main, just to make sure there are no conflicts and the code looks good and all that. For these group projects, we're probably not going to need to do a lot of that. As long as you guys are keeping communication with each other, you should be all right. So the easiest way to do it is if you switch to main by clicking on this, and then hit choose a branch to merge into main. You can click on this, and then it gives you options. So you choose a different branch, and this option says this will merge one commit from Dylan branch into main. If there are conflicts, it'll let you know before you're merging. So you can be like, oh nope, don't want to mess with those conflicts. I'm gonna like actually resolve some stuff and see what went wrong before merging. Or you can just raw dog it and resolve the conflicts once you merge. It's up to you.
Of course, yeah.
But make sure you have a backup before you do that because you could easily mess stuff up.
How regularly should you make a backup of your stuff if you're being
Usually it's only an issue when you have merge conflicts. But if you're merging into main, it's like it doesn't hurt to just clone a backup and just name it backup, and you can delete it once you're done and everything works. But yeah, like you mostly want to make a backup when there are conflicts or you don't really know what's being pushed. I know exactly what's being pushed, so I don't really need to make a backup. Like it's just one text file. So I'm gonna create a merge commit. And now what happened is those changes from the Dylan branch is now on my local machine on main. So it isn't on the cloud yet. So you have to do another step, which is push origin, which pushes those changes that merge to the cloud. And so then if you go back to github.com, on main, I now have the README text. And so this technically this applies to the Unity files. Every time you make a change, one of these files will change. Every time you like move an object or add a script or do anything, it'll make that change, and then you upload those changes similar to this README text file. And so let's say if I was to go back to my branch and edit this text file. Yeah, I know this is it's not the most fun thing, but it's important. It's important. Show Explorer, and then open this up, and let's just say pretend I am Mr. Bean with goggles. So we're adding goggles to Mr. Bean now. All right, and then it changed. All right, so this got updated. This line got deleted, and this line got replaced with it. So now I'm no longer Mr. Bean. I'm Mr. Bean with goggles. And so you change it. You'd be like, added goggles, commit, push. And now that's on my branch. And then if I want to merge that into main, I'm comfortable with my changes. They're not breaking, and there are probably no conflicts. Then I can choose branch to merge, Dylan, create a merge commit, and push. And so now main has Mr. Bean with goggles. There is one more step, although I don't know how many of you guys have the engine that you plan to use for your game installed. Anyone who has the engine installed for the game that you plan to use. I know some of the people who worked on the clicker game will probably have this because I walked you guys through downloading that. All right, perfect. So those people can move on. Other people, if you want, if you haven't decided on an engine, that's completely fine. You can always go back to this video. It's probably going to end up being a little long, so maybe like skip through some of it. This is the point in the video, if you watch this later, this is the point in the video where you do all the Unity or Unreal, like use the engine that you use to like actually add it to the repository and start working on your stuff. All right, so yes.
We will definitely be going over a lot of this every now and then for the people who missed this.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. This is fun stuff. Okay, so all the people who can follow along and who have their version of Unity installed, or Unreal Engine installed, I'm gonna show you guys how to actually add your project or add a Unity project to this repository here. All right, so I'm gonna delete this README text. I'm in main right now. Yeah, that's fine. I delete. I'm pushing the main because like we don't really need this text. So delete text. Commit, push. This is one of the few times where I am pushing the main. Typically, you don't want to do that. You want to push to your own branch and then merge your branch into main, so that way you're actually like seeing conflicts rather than making more. Yeah.
So, is there a difference between commit to main and force push?
So yeah, force push essentially, you only use that in emergencies, where you have a clean backup in a dirty main, and it essentially overwrites all of one branch. So by force pushing the main, it overwrites all of main with the backup. So like, let's say I want to put a clean backup into like a bad main, and there are like a bunch of merge conflicts and crap like doesn't work. I just like basically replace main with the new branch.
Because last time I used GitHub, after a while, push just stopped working and only force push worked.
Yeah, that's probably because force push also brings your other branches out of date. So if you want to actually push something else in the main, there'll be conflicts unless you force push it and just overwrite everything. Yeah, try like sometimes you'll get into a point in your project, like if you make a couple mistakes where you just be like, yeah, I just have to force push every time, or I just have to like do these like 5 steps before I actually like get our project involved. You don't want to really like get to that point because it's just like, I don't know how this works, but I'm just gonna like, this seems to work for now. So like, it's so much easier when you just kind of do everything right the first time, or like rebase when you need to rebase and like revert your changes, and like if you make a mistake, have a backup. All right. So but the best way to do it is not make the mistakes in the first place. Unfortunately, that's how it works. But yeah. So yeah, we're gonna add a Unity project now. So, and if you're Unreal, the way you do it is similar. It might be a little different, but I'm just going to do Unity. So I'm going to go to Unity Hub, if you guys have that installed. And then go to Projects. I'm going to create a new project. And you guys want to create a new project too, feel free. We're making a 2D game at Chicken Demon here, so there's the 2D. And I'll call this Chicken Demon. Fun fact, it doesn't technically matter what you call this because you're going to be moving it anyways. Demon. And yeah, I'm going to move this to desktop. Oh wait, actually, I'm just gonna add this. Just add to your desktop. It was defaulting to my GitHub for some reason. All right, and then I can connect to your cloud. It doesn't matter. All right, and then you just kind of set up this project. Most of the defaults are already kind of there. You can just use these settings and then create a project. It might take a minute to actually create it.
Wonderful weather we're having.
Mm-hmm. But as long as you guys are grasping on to like a little bit of what I'm saying, like kind of understanding the concepts of GitHub, like we'll go over this like a couple more times and like work with you individually, like get your project set up and stuff. And also, if you're like super locked in and 100% know what's going on, feel free to help like other people out too, who need help, because they're always we can only be like so many places at once. So getting like more people to help out would be good. I'm gonna pause this again.
Yes.
I'm sorry, fellas. You missed the merge conflict resolve, but it's okay.
We got Mr. Ray.
We got Mr. Bean back on main for you guys who missed it. Yeah, here I'll show an explorer. Mr. Bean is back, baby.
With goggles.
With goggles. All right. This is up now. Okay, so now we have Chicken Demon or whatever your project is up and running, and we want to see where this actually is. So if you go to like File, usually you can open or there's a way to open it. Yeah, you can do it in Unity Hub too. That's probably easier. If you click on this, you can click the show and explore setting. Developers. Oh wait, are you helping them? Are you helping them?
Oh no, I wasn't helping him. I was scanning him.
No,
I'll get
okay.
I'll get out of the way.
Developers.
All right.
Okay.
Good. I want to hear more about this.
Just gonna spaz out every time I want you guys to be quiet. All right, so yeah, if you go in Unity Hub, if you're in Unity, you can see the project file, and you know how I showed you guys the bubble up one. This is Chicken D. So open up Chicken D, and you have all these stuff that was already configured when you made your project. This is all just the pre-made
An advisory,
files and folders that.
Don't make the file names too long, because eventually you might run into problems with the file path being too long.
And also, we're getting back into territory where only one person needs to do this and pushes and get their initial commit into the main branch. If you're following along, like if there are multiple people following along, that's okay. Just have one person only. This is like the one time you actually want to push to main. All right.
Get something up.
Just to have stuff up. So this is Chicken D. This is the folder that all the stuff is in, but we have our own folder that we're going to put all this stuff in. So if you go to where like all this, like a bunch of stuff is, like the assets, library logs, your like scripts and stuff, you just Control X that, empty out that folder, and then move it to wherever your GitHub repository is. In this case, it will be in my documents, GitHub, and where's the chicken? Yeah, Chicken Daemon. And then I'm going to, am I in main? And make sure to check your branch too, if you have multiple. I'm in main, so I'm good. I'm going to Control paste. Okay, and it's uploading.
It's yours.
He gets it now.
Alright.
Also, yeah, make sure you don't have Unity open when you're doing this.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
I can't wait to
Hold on one
wait
second.
for 5,000 years for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, are you
School
are you
internet,
manually
yes.
moving the folder over? You didn't create it in the folder?
No, well, you don't have to because here's the thing. Whenever you create a project, there's like an extra folder. So I just create it somewhere else, copy the contents, and move it. Because otherwise, you're gonna have to get ignore issues. I've learned the hard way. Trust me. So yeah, you just copy the stuff. And then I'm gonna try again. Make sure you have Unity closed, or else not everything's gonna upload. Okay. So now you should have everything at this point. Hopefully, you guys have everything in your GitHub Chicken Daemon or whatever your project is folder. Also, if you're on Chicken Daemon team, you don't have to do this because I'm pushing to main. All right. And so now that you have this, because all these changes happened, I can now go to GitHub and I see all these changes that I made, all these files that I added, and I'm gonna commit. I'm just gonna call it initial commit because it's the first one. It's the first big one. I'm actually initializing the project. All right, and then now that as of now, because I pushed it and I committed everything, the empty Unity project is now public in the repository. So all you other people who are part of the Chicken Daemon, you guys now have the option to pull from main. So if you click refresh, you'll get an option that says pull, and then you'll basically pull all the files I pushed to the cloud. And so you'll get that on your device now, and you'll have access to that project. And so the step from here now for you guys who are just getting all these folders, you need Unity to interpret it for you. And to do that, go back to Unity Hub. I'm going to get rid of this because this isn't relevant anymore. And then how you get a series of folders to actually be inserted into your Unity project is you hit add and add project from disk. This adds a project. Oh, sorry. This adds a project from like the folders, reads all the folders. If it's valid, then you have a new Unity project. And so I'm gonna go to GitHub, Chicken Demon, all these fun folders. Oh wait, actually go back, and then you just click on the folder because you're just adding a folder. Chicken Demon, and you click Add Project. So once you have your repository, once you pulled from main, you can then add project from disk, and it'll have all the stuff for you in Chicken Demon or whatever your repository is. Am I still making sense? I feel like that was a lot of information I just kind of threw at you. Okay.
So could you just run through how to get the project from the Git repository onto there one more time, like what you just did?
Oh, so like from in here.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if you're on the repository, if you hit refresh, you should get a notification to pull, assuming the person has uploaded to main and made it. Because every time main's different from your local, it'll give you an option to pull. Or every time any branch is different from your local, it'll be like, oh, pull from the remote. So you always want to stay up to date with the remote branch or the cloud branch as much as possible, just so you don't have diverging stuff.
So what do you download from that though? Like, what do you?
Well, but by pulling, you actually, if I go back to show in Explorer, I get all these files.
Okay. Perfect.
So that pulls all the project files that Unity interprets, and then yeah. And yeah, we'll go over this like 50 more times with you guys if you guys are lost or need help. I know a lot of you guys can't really work on this right now because you don't have like this necessary stuff installed, but yeah, we'll have the video go over it. There's also YouTube tutorials which you guys can look through. But yeah, so we have that, and now I'm gonna add project from disk, and then Chicken D. No, I'm on desktop. Make sure you're in your GitHub folder. Chicken Demon, add project. All right, so I just added Chicken Demon. I'm gonna open it now, and I have all the folders, so it should open as an empty project. On a level of like 1 to like 10, like how like confused or like 1 if you're like really following, you're like understand everything I'm saying, and 10 if like I'm not making any sense.
Say like a 2. 2's also my favorite numbers, or 2.
All right.
I feel like it's so much as like a board game. Like you can explain the rules all day, but the only way you're really
Is by playing it, yeah.
is by playing.
Yep. That's fair. That's a fair point.
What version is the chicken doing?
Oh, it's 2022.3.53. So make sure you're using that one. I think we downloaded it at the last meeting.
Well, is there anything else to talk about as far as GitHub is concerned?
I was gonna do a little more demonstration. I know like this is taking a long time, but yeah. There's one. I was just gonna show you guys what it looks like to actually like move an object and like what we'll show on the GitHub desktop, just to show you. and then we'll be done. And then we'll break. Thank you guys for hanging in there.
After this, I got trivia.
Oh, nice. Come on. Also, if you just want to do art, like if you're like a hardcore artist, you don't necessarily need to get GitHub as long as you have really good communication with your team members. It's preferable because that way you can be like a technical artist. You know, you can be an artist who has like some technical skills and make developers' lives easier.
Yeah.
But if you just want to do strictly art, that's okay. You can just like upload it to a Google Drive or like post it in Discord and someone else can add it in. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to add I'm just going to add a circle.
That's got me much more.
Like, oh, look, circle. Save. I saved the project with Control S. And then if I go back to GitHub, look at that. The scene's updated. And the scene settings are updated. And if whenever you make a change, if there are like 500 changes or like a crap ton of changes and you only moved one thing or like exited out, then your git ignore is probably not installed properly, and you're going to resolve that sooner rather than later before you make a bunch of commits. And so the big issue that I've faced with GitHub is that the git ignore is not in the same directory as all this stuff. If it's one layer higher, because sometimes it's really common to have chicken daemon and then another chicken daemon folder with the GitHub and then all the projects. It's not going to recognize what folders or what files to ignore if it's one layer above it. So you have to make sure the git ignore is mixed in with all this fun stuff. And that usually does it. And make sure you use the Unity template. I think there are Unity templates you can download as well if you don't have one and you don't want to remake the repository. But yeah. So I'm just gonna add these added circle, and it's best practice to just kind of make your commit message what you actually did, and then I'm gonna commit these two files. I'm committing to main, but generally you just create your own branch. Sometimes it's easier if you're making a little change and like you're experienced enough and you know it's not gonna mess anything up. Then sure, you can commit to main as long as you're keeping communication, letting people know, hey, I made a couple small changes. I'm just gonna commit this to main if that's okay with you guys. Because otherwise, if you have two people do it that think the same thing, I'm just gonna make these little changes. Both of them commit like the same change, and then you have a merge conflict in main, which is never fun. But yeah, be really careful when pushing to main. It's always better to like make a new branch and just.
Did you spell circle with a U?
It is a typo.
Circle.
I'm tired. Okay, it's been a long day.
Circle.
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 Yeah.
You did that Sunday.
Circle. What?
You did that Sunday too.
I spelled circle wrong on Sunday.
I
No way.
guess.
What? I don't even remember spelling circle on Sunday.
I remember the brainstorm session.
Oh man.
Great.
Circle and maybe is my weakness. I always spell maybe when texting like MABEY for some reason, and then I had to change that up. It got to the point where audit. It got to the point. Yeah. Yeah, the actual name maybe. Yeah.
So you going here to see your daughter? Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Daddy needs to get his rocks off out of context. It's part of a TV show.
Do you think they just wrote that entire episode specifically around that one day?
It's so good. Best joke of season 4.
It was a rough scene, but that was.
Okay. Yeah. So then I'll publish. But yeah, whenever you're making a change, just try to make it in your own branch and then merge to main. It's always safer than just like making changes in main. But if you just have a quick change, like just, I guess go for it. But don't say I didn't warn you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't think it would take this long. Here. Thanks for sticking with us, guys, watching the stream. If y'all are still there, we'll check in. We'll check in on our.
They're probably.
Hey, there we go. Hey.
They're
Thanks for
probably
sticking
all
around for the
playing
whole
the
thing.
game or something.
Xander had to leave, sadly.
It's the Lego Man.
Don't
Alright.
like-
I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks, guys, for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Ring the bell for notifications, and download Raid Shadow Legends.